So a couple months later, I'll go do my second Tonight Show. I'm hanging out principally with Sam Kinison. So you set your Tonight Show set. You set it. It's almost in stone. You have this approved 5 minutes you're going to do, and you practice it. Sam says, it's too lame, man. It's too lame. You got to be edgier. You got edgier stuff. Now, I go to Tonight Show. I managed to quit doing coke the night before. That was a victory. That's as well as I could do. I had a couple of beers, a couple of drinks that night. I'm doing the Tonight Show the next day. A little bit hungover, a little bit anxious. I was in a dressing room with Jim McCulley. I said, I want to change the last bits that I'm doing. I want to take these 2-3 jokes out and put these other jokes in. He said, what do you got? Well, Sam and I had gone to see this band called Stryper, which was a heavy metal Christian band at the time in the 80s. And we'd gone to see this band just as a kick, right? And the lead singer came out, and his opening line was, Jesus was the first rock and roller. And I thought, that's fantastic. If there is a son of God, you just put him in the show business. How could you trivialize him more than that, you know? I said to myself, if Jesus was the first rock and roller, he had to have an agent. So this is Jesus talking to his agent. You got to get me out of the hills and valleys. I'm dying out there. Book me into the temple. That's where the money is, the temple. Get me into the temple. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You have a very short memory, my friend. I had you book the temple last year to open Messiah night. What do? You walk in, you knock over the money changer's table. I can't get your book back in there, son. You got a good thing going. You got to work up some more of these bits. The water, the wine, and bringing back the dead. These are good things. Keep working them up. You know, look at Moses. Moses, 40 years in the desert, 40 years. Made a name for himself. The tablets, the whole thing. Come back strong. You got to work on your act. All right, nail me to a cross. You got something there. That's a closing bit. So I do this little performance for Jim McCulley in a dressing room. He says, you can't do that. You crazy? You can't do that. So then I said, an alternative. I said, I had these 2 jokes when Barney Clark was the first artificial heart recipient. I had a joke about him. They said he had this 800-pound machine that he'd be hooked up to the rest of his life. They said it may affect his lifestyle. I said, it's got to affect his bowling game. Got to have 3 buddies drag the thing down the lane with him, you know. And I had another joke about defibrillator, heart paddles, you know, how scary they look to save someone's lives. You know, you always go, clear, everybody back away. And the body just jumps off the desk, it just jumps off the table, you know. And so I said, you know, some doctors are just getting sadistic. Turn it up, let's see how high we can make him jump, you know. So McCulley was so beat down, I was so like rabid, like on this. He just said, all right, do those 2 jokes. All right, you do those 2 jokes. So I come out, I do my set, I do those 2 jokes. I come off stage, Jim McCulley this time grabs me by the arm and says, come here. And he hustles me in the dressing room. And he gives me a beer. He says, do not come out. Do not come out. Do not show your face. Stay here till I come back. And about a half an hour later, he comes back. He says, Johnny hated those jokes. Hated them. He says, my fault. I shouldn't have proved them. I should have known. Johnny Carson was like a 4-pack-a-day smoker. He had a big fear of heart attack. Big fear. So he hated those jokes. He said, you're not getting back on the Tonight Show. I'm sorry, man. It's my fault. He said, Johnny hated him, man. I got to get you. You got to wait here until Johnny leaves. He did not want to see me. There's no possibility of seeing me. So I sat in my dressing room, waited. Once Johnny had left, you know, the studio, I was able to come out. I said, well, I'm done. I'm done. And then I got sober. A few months later, and I started, at first it was hard. I wasn't coming up with any new material. I thought I'd written my last joke, and I was sober, but I wasn't coming up with anything new, and I was really getting depressed about it. And a friend of mine said, you know, you should run, you should exercise. And I was smoking a lot myself, so I started running, and I'd take cigarettes and put them in my socks, and I'd run a couple feet, then I'd light up a smoke, you know, then I'd run a couple feet. But I was running one day, and I came up with an idea for a joke. It landed, and comics know a lot of times a joke, you get the setup and then the punchline, you might have the punchline, you have to craft the setup. This thing landed in piece, in whole. And I couldn't wait to get to the improv that night. I did that joke. The first time I did it, I knew I was on to something new. I said, in relationships, I don't care how much you love each other, how much you need each other, you got to work through those moments. It could happen any time of the day where 1 second you look at the other person, you think to yourself, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And your next thought could be, how can I fake my death? And this was like 1985, and I really started working this area a lot more this area. And one night, Jim McCulley comes up to me, Tonight Show coordinator, Jim McCulley comes up to me in the improv and says, you know, I've been watching you for a couple months. You're different. Your whole attitude's different. You're not as angry as you were. I like this new material you do. doing, I think we can get you back on the Tonight Show, but you got to do a Merv Griffin show first. Do a Merv Griffin. It was like a baseball pitcher going through minor league rehab, you know. Do a Merv, AAA, do a rehab assignment. So Merv was a daytime talk show. Remember that, like LM at daytime. And so I got a little Merv set together, a little safe little Merv sets. 4 in the afternoon, was always an older crowd, tourists and all. And I got a little nice safe set, ready to go. And we're backstage, and Les Sinclair was the booker for the Merv Griffin show. And Les comes up to me and says, look, today's audience is a little strange. They're all older Jewish people from a retirement home. I mean, almost the entire audience are these older Jewish people from this retirement home. And I'm thinking, why is he telling me this? It doesn't matter. I'm just doing little stupid stuff about my nephew and a couple of little stupid jokes. I don't know why he's telling me this. Didn't even sink in on anything. I just went, okay, that's fine, no problem. So we go backstage behind the curtain, waiting for me to be introduced. The person in front of me, the guest in front of me, was an actress named Dyan Cannon. Dyan Cannon was promoting a movie at the time, this was like 1986 or so, called Jenny's War. Jenny's War. So Merv was like, Dyan, this is a very serious movie. She goes, oh, it's my really, I think one of the best things I've ever been a part of. I love this movie. He goes, well, let's take a look at a clip. So then they put on the studio monitors for the whole audience to see. Dyan Cannon is now dressed up as a concentration camp victim, and a Nazi, full-on Gestapo Nazi, is beating her up. And Merv turns to Dyan, he goes, that was very good work. Let's bring out our next entertainer. 1986, blonde hair, blue eyes, a lot younger. I might as well have goose-stepped out onto the stage. Right? Here comes the jokes. Oh, no. These people were in shock. I mean, shock. I look out, they're just in shock, and I do my first joke. I just do my first joke. And, you know, comics will do a joke and it doesn't get much of a reaction. This got no reaction whatsoever, none. And I remember Jerry Seinfeld had told me, if a joke doesn't work and you're doing a talk show, just look at the camera, nod. That gives just a moment for them to later put in canned laughter. So they'll put the laughter in later. So I do that. Joke doesn't work, I look at the camera, and I start my next joke. Nothing again, nothing. This went on for 5 minutes, nothing. I'm shrinking. I'm in Uncle Dirty used to say it's quick stage. I'm getting smaller and smaller. Right? Quick stage. I come off, man. I am wobbling, man. I am wobbling. I come off, and Les Sinclair goes, I tried to tell you. I didn't know what I could say. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sorry. There was nothing we could do about it. I'm really sorry. I was like, well, that's fine, but I'm done. I'm done. This was my rehab assignment to get back on Johnny Carson. So I just went, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm done. Because this was really the only path that I could see back then. I didn't know any other path to do the Tonight Show to maybe have something else happen. It's 1986, and a couple nights later, Jim McCauley walks up to me at the Improv and says, I want to talk to you about that Merv Griffin show. And I thought to myself, just tell him you're moving, man. Just go, don't worry, I'm going to be out of town in a couple days. I'm just wrapping things up here, He says, Les Sinclair told me what happened. That was really professional. You took your beating. You didn't blame the audience. You didn't go short. They'll put the laughter in later. Don't worry. You're ready to do a Tonight Show again. So I got my Tonight Show the third time, through bombing on Merv Griffin. That's what happened. I bombed and then got it, which I don't know if anybody's ever done that. I'll take that. But to me, the best part was I have the tape. They put the canned laughter in. But the best part is, like, I do a joke, you hear the laughter, and then they do an audience shot, and the whole audience will be like, you have no idea where the laughter is coming from.